सो हेलो एवरीवन एंड वेलकम बैक टू द चैनल. सो जैसे कि आपने थंबनेल में देखा ही होगा कि व्हाट इज द रीजन फॉर मेकिंग दिस वीडियो. Well, my bike is going in for a very long storage, maybe for 3 months or maybe for even 4 months. I may not be able to use it because of my work reasons and I'll be away from my bike. So this is one time which comes in every motorcyclist's life, that you're not always driving a motorcycle. There are times when you will have to let it remain idle and on standby for extended period of time, definitely more than a month. So I'm going to show you some few simple tricks which I've been using for the past 15 years, because I frequently get to do this periods of active riding and thereafter a very sedentary period wherein I don't even touch my motorcycle. There is no maintenance, nothing which happens on it. So let's get into it. We'll divide this lesson into three parts. The first part is the engine part, everything and anything associated with the engine. Second is the mechanical parts, anything and everything which moves on the motorcycle. And the third will be the electrical part. I think amongst all these points, the electrical is the most significant, because if the electrical doesn't work, which is more like the heart of the bike, then this bike is as good as just a piece of metal and plastic. So point number one is to get your bike serviced. Yes, many people are going to tell me that what is the need for getting your bike serviced when you're going to put it down for 2 or 3 months. Well, the thing is, there are certain components in the bike which are old, like spark plugs or air filter, oil filter, which are not going to get any new by making it stand for 2 or 3 months. So karna kya hai? To go to a service center, get a normal servicing done for this bike. Do not do extra servicing. Do not change things which eventually, even if it is going to burn out, let it burn out. Something like your cone set or something, those can be let go, because when you come back, maybe you will require to go for another servicing, and in that you can change it, or just change only the cone set later on. So some components can be left like that. But air filter, because the air is definitely going to keep moving in your bike even if you do not start it, then normal dust is going to seep into the combustion chamber, as well as spark plug, because the tip of the spark plug will keep getting rusted. So there are certain components like those which will have to be replaced even if you're going to put it for a long storage. So go to a service center, get the motorcycle service. The second point with respect to the engine is the engine oil. Actually, the engine oil needs to be changed. If you change an engine oil and you do not use that bike for some period of time, not a very extended period of time like 6 months or a year, but 2 or 3 months, 4 months, like that, the engine oil generally does have a life of about 3 to 5 years. So if your bike's engine oil is anything less than 3 years and you're going to come back in 3 months and use it again, change the engine oil. It is not worth keeping the old engine oil with a lot of dust and muck in it, because eventually it will remain there and start giving way to corrosion. So change the engine oil. Third and the most important point is the clutch plates. So there are few people who have various logic about the clutch plates. Some people say that you need to hold the clutch plate tight and tie it up. The reason is that when you do such a thing, gear is disengaged from the engine. So what happens is that there is a certain space. So into those spaces, the oil, if required, it continues to remain lubricated. But until unless you start the bike and move it, I don't know how useful it is. So I generally do not do that. I just let it be. But very important thing which I do is I put the bike in neutral. Keeping the bike in the neutral condition is an utmost important thing. There is no compromise on it. Never ever put your motorcycle in gear when you are parking it for a very long time. This can have a lot of detrimental effect, because the gear will keep it engaged to the engine, and there is no lubrication happening. So eventually what happens, because of the contact, there will be a rusting which will happen. Disengaging the gear, definitely, as some people point out, is a good idea. Keeping it in neutral is also a fair idea. It has never harmed me in any of the motorcycles I have used. So some other thing which you can also think about on your bike when you are taking it to service center is to make sure that all the components, electrical components, all the mechanical parts, everything are tightened properly. There is no unnecessary space. Use a bit of WD-40 and clear off any water or anything which is there in it, and make sure that they are airtight. So after the servicing at the service center is done for a bike, the second thing which I think you should always do is, if they are not given you a wash already, is to take it to a washing center, get it washed professionally. Do not do it yourself. It will have its own gaps. It will not use too much of a pressure washer. Gentle wash is all required. Use soap deliberately and clean off all the dirt and muck which is there, especially oil and grease in those hidden corners. It has to be removed, because these will sit there and unnecessarily give way to a lot of rusting, and parts eventually will suddenly start falling off without even you knowing it. It is very important to do the chain lubing and the chain cleaning all at the same time. I have a small variation to what procedure I do when I do in a normal time to the time when I go for storage. The procedure which I do for the storage is that I clean the entire chain using diesel, whatever that they may have. I bring it home. I use this traditional chain cleaning methods of using a WD-40 or any chain cleaning liquid. I do it once again and make sure that there is absolutely no dust or any grime or anything on that. Thereafter, I leave the motorcycle in the dry. I do not leave it in the open. There is nothing about the motorcycle to be left in the open. In any shaded area, wherever you can find some shaded area in your home, anywhere near your house, if you got something like that, put the bike there, let it dry by under the own weather conditions, under the natural weather conditions which are there around you. So once after 12 hours it has dried up, that is the only time I come in, and thereafter I put in my chain lube. The reason is that in the normal time you could just dry it up, use a cloth, clean it, do the chain loop, keep moving regularly. So when you're using your bike quite regularly, there is a very good chance that if there is any moisture or any water droplets left in the chain, they would eventually get thrown off in the next 1 or 2 days, and the rusting component just comes down drastically. But when you put this bike on a stand and you leave it for the next 2-3 months, the water droplet along with the chain loop, everything would mix up and it will start doing yet another mode of corrosion. And not just that, once you lubricate the chain, it has to be lubricated in its entirety. In traditional lubricating, you just lube it between the links. Wherever there's a space in the link, that's where you just drop a drop of oil or you do a spray or something like that. But when you have to put the chain into a preservation mode, I dip literally the entire chain in oil. And what is that oil that I use, which is very important. So in the market you get a lot of lubes which are called as the gear oils. Initially I was using it, but I found its viscosity to be very less. So it would be like more or less like water. I would pour it and it would just run off. But then I moved on to this brother. His name is Castrol Transmax Manual. Now the point to be noted is that his hardness level is at 90. So I have put him into a dipper machine like this, and what I do is that I use it to lubricate all the components inside the chain, and also take the little bit of oil using a toothbrush, an old toothbrush, and then wipe it across the entire links wherever there is a contact possible. The reason is that this brother, after he dries up, he becomes sticky, so that kind of forms a natural layer over it, kind of a insulation cover over the links. So the chain at this point in time is well preserved. But however, when you have to come back and use this bike again, you have to take it back to service center, or maybe you can do it yourself. Use all your chain cleaning liquids, clean it up, lube it normally, and then use it. This is only the preservation technique which I told, not the general lubrication which I do. Now we're coming again to one of the other very significant moving part in this entire bike are the wheels. So the wheels are generally having whichever brand that you might use, and they come with a maximum pressure rating to which you need to put air into it. So in my case, that pressure rating is 42 for both the tires, forward as well as the rear. So what I have done, I filled it up to entire 42 in both the tires, front and back as well. So what we need to remember about the tire is that if this vehicle is not going to move for the next 2 or 3 months, wherever there is a point of contact, if it is not inflated to the maximum possible limits, eventually the air is going to leak out and the entire weight of the bike will start coming on that exact portion of the tire which is in contact, eventually leading to a fracture of its shoulder as well as the tire structure there. And thereafter, at a very unexpected time, this tire is going to give up. Ideally speaking, that is all that you need to do. Now there are certain moving parts of this bike which are not very much seen to us being used every day. Something like gear lever, or probably this, or probably even this. So when these points remain in a certain position and do not have much of greasing or any lubrication given to it, they will eventually start rusting, and that can be an issue. So use deliberately a lot of WD-40 to spray in on all those points where there is a certain contact, and what can happen in return is that that will remain protected from some level of corrosion till the time you get back to the bike again after some time. Like, I don't have to use it here because this is not going to move much, it will remain like that. So but this thing needs to move subsequently, these have to be moving. So I'll be using a lot of WD-40 to spray it in all these portions. So spraying of lubrication, that is a WD-40, some moving parts has been done. So great. So almost everything for storing the bike is done. Now we'll get into the most important part, which is the electrical. So for electrical, it is very simple. We have to get to the battery compartment. In this bike, it is right underneath the seat here. We need to get over there. We'll have to just simply disconnect both the positive as well as the electrical contacts to the battery. By that, what happens is that the entire bike is going down into a death scenario. There is nothing in this bike which is alive. All your ignition, all your lights, all your fogs, even the sensors which have to work, otherwise everything literally goes into a proper death. The issue that has to be remembered is that once you come back from wherever you go after a few months, you will have to reconnect the battery and have to probably reset some of the things. That varies from one bike to another. Most of the bikes do not have an issue. Some bikes do have. One of my bike did have. So you'll have to reset a lot of things. For example, even the time, clock, everything would probably go dead. Some cases, but sometimes it don't happen. So once you reconnect the battery, there might be some even sensor indications which might come up on the main display, which is over there. So over here, you will have some possibility of some engine fault alarm or something will come up, which because the electrical connection was disconnected and then reconnected after some time. Maybe even the battery would run dry. So if those conditions arise, then in that case it is better to take the battery, go it recharged, if required get it even replaced. But because the battery has been what to say, it has been disconnected for a very long time. So the only thing that would matter now is that when you connect it, the engine the vehicle has to come back to life. So let me just get ahead and disconnect the battery on this motorcycle, with which almost the entire procedure of keeping the bike for a long-term storage has been nearly done. And very important thing is that do not keep the motorcycle on the side stand if you already have a center stand, because that is what the manufacturer wanted that bike to be on for a long-term storage. But if you do not have an option, like in my case, I only have side stand. So in that case, what I have to do is that I have to put this bike on side stand and go ahead. So let's do one thing, get into the battery compartment now. So we'll have to use a size 10 T handle for removing the screws over here. Once they are over, we can get to have an access to the battery compartment. So with that, we get an access to the battery compartment. This is the negative terminal, that being the positive terminal. All that you need to do actually simply is just to disconnect the negative terminal and leave the positive terminal there for ease of re-establishing the connection. But what I will do is that I am going to disconnect both of them. Very important thing, there are lots of wires which will be connected at this terminals. Whatever are the wires, they need to go back together. So it would be a very wise idea to have a rubber band or probably have a cable tie with you once you use this. So let me go in and get a rubber band or a cable tie real quick so that I can put these things back together. So cool, I've been able to manage 2 rubber bands. Please do remember, using rubber bands, there's a possibility that these rubber bands might get sticky over time. So very much not recommended thing, but if there's no other option, like I'm not having any other option, use this. What I'd recommend the most is that you can take out those cable tie kind of a thing which comes when you have a packaging of bread in India. So that is something like a wire kind of a thing. If you have that, that is the best. Small one, tiny ones, and can be used to tie up all the wires. So let's get in and now let's remove and disconnect the battery terminals. After a bit of struggle and dirtying my hands, all the battery terminals have been connected. Very important, it's easy to disconnect them all, but very important to get them all together and tie them up together so that these guys don't go missing. Especially there are 2 nuts, bolts, which actually hold them down together to the battery. They have to be very much in place. They should not go missing, otherwise when you come back there is no battery, there is no bike. You will literally have to go searching for that one size of a bolt, and then only you can get your bike running. So with that, I think everything is done. One last step, one single step is left, and that is to put back all these seats back onto the bike, bolt it down, and put a huge cover on it. I do two ways of doing it. I mean, there's two steps of putting cover on the bike. First step is to put a big bed sheet on it, so that if there is any rain or anything, that water absorb it. And on top of it, I put a bike cover. So in this case, I do not have a bike cover for my bike because I never had a reason to leave this bike and go for the last 2 years. So what I'm going to do is that I have a car cover. My car is Brezza. It has a very big cover. My Brezza is going to be used by my family, my father, my brother, whoever comes along. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the Brezza cover on top of this bike and make sure that it is covered entire 360 degrees. So I can get it inside into the cover and cover it wholesome because it's huge in size. So, and with that, I tie it down with a rope, and that's it. Finished. The bike is now into preservation for the next 3 months. So guys, with that, the covering up of the entire bike is also done. I'll do a little bit more of adjustment at the bottom so that it is entirely covered and there is no chance for any rats or anything to just come and start making a house inside this. So that will be the end of how to put your bike out for a long-term storage. So with this guys, I think I come to the end of how to put your bike onto a long-term storage. If this is of some value or information to you, please do take some lessons out of it and put it into your motorcycling life as well. With this, time to sign off. Goodbye. See you in the next vlog.